Hi guys, and welcome back to this channel. My name is Susan Silantoi. As you know, the aim of this channel is to offer information about how government works, why systems are set up, so that we can understand what our role is in improving the governance in our country. And through this, we can create a politically empowered generation. So as you may see, we have a different set. And today we actually have a guest. So I'd like to introduce my guest. Some random guy I got from the street. And Ben. But anyway, this is Ben.
I introduced myself a bit earlier.
Yes, what?
No, as in venye nimeshout hivyo, sikuwa nimengoja umalize kuni-introduce mazee. But I'm very, very grateful to, for you just to invite me into this monarch where you've been running everything by yourself.
Who are you? Si uanze tu na jina yako kwanza.
Oh, my name is Ben. My name is Ben Cyco. I'm a podcaster, musician, content creator. And I'm happy to be in Susie's kingdom, I guess. Queendom.
Can you bow? Anyway, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So today's episode is going to be about the BBI judgment. Like, what did that judgment say?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about, first of all, what happened, that the case ended up in court. And then after that, we'll put a few details as to what did the judges find. And then we'll talk about what the way forward is. So, right. Ben.
So,
where do we start?
Man, this story has been hot. It's been all over. I was really shocked about that ruling. I think did it come at night?
Yes. The ruling was made between about 5 p.m. and about 9 p.m.
Yeah, I remember Yani just watching it and I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so much. It will change so many things. It will change a lot of maybe, let's say, for example, if the political wave was going this way, now that just cut through the wave, and now
it's something different.
What are we going to do? Because now it's been splashed this direction, that direction, that direction.
Basically, imeanguka.
It was chaos, man.
Yeah.
And I think before one thing I have to say is that I think those judges were very brave, man.
Yeah, it was a brave ruling.
That was brave. Like if I was the judge, if I made such a ruling, napanda tu matatu unashinda tu kiangalia nyuma mazee, unajua.
First of all, ungekuwa unapanda matatu if you are the judge, but
no one like now for security reason hiyo siku unachukua matatu, man, unajua. Unalipia kiti ya mbele. Yapa, na unalipa pia ya nyuma, so that you can monitor everything, So, big shout out to the judges.
Yeah, man. Okay, so this is not to say that. Are you happy with the judgment?
Yes.
You can give your opinion.
Yes. Oh, okay. I can.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check if nimemalizana KRA vizuri. Leta hiyo mdomo ulikuwa unaleta sasa hapa.
But were you happy with the judgment?
I was very happy with the judgment. Am I audible enough, Shage? I was very happy with the judgment.
Okay.
First, maybe there are guys who had filed this judgment. This was, I think, David and
this case.
This case. So the guys who had filed it, do you know them?
So what we know is that there were about 15 petitioners.
Yeah.
Who petitioned different things.
Yeah.
I know some of them were people like Katiba Institute, which is an NGO. There's also Linda Katiba, which is also like a movement of a few...
Wait, what's that?
Individuals.
Okay. It's the glass expanding.
Which is a movement of a few individuals who are against the amendment of the Constitution.
It's called?
Linda Katiba.
Linda Katiba, yeah.
So it had quite a number of individuals, and I guess David D's, but I'm not very sure.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is we had a whole process of constitutional amendments.
Yeah.
And I detailed that in a few episodes back.
Yeah.
Talking about what the BBI process looked like and also what the content is. And I'll link some of those videos below.
Yeah. We've even done videos together talking about BBI.
Oh, yes. Even some of them we did with Ben.
I'll also link. That I also have a channel.
Oh, yeah. Ben has a channel. It's called the Cyco Podcast.
I have to market myself like that here. So jua kali ningeva tu t-shirt basi.
But yes, we did a couple of videos talking about that. So this specific episode, we won't go into the details of what the BBI is about. Yeah. We've done that before and we'll link it in the description box. However, what we're going to talk about is, so what exactly happened after that whole process?
Yeah.
So what happened was there were a couple of people who went to court to seek guidance of the court about the constitutionality of the process.
Yeah.
How legal is this process?
Because with government, it's not necessarily about the outcome. The process is
equally
very,
important.
Very important.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So they went to seek advice from the High Court, which is actually a constitutional court. If you have an issue with something that the Constitution says and you need it to be resolved or to be clarified, you can go to the High Court for that. So they went to the High Court to figure out whether this process is constitutional.
Yep.
And also a few of them, actually, they also asked about the content, some of the content of the BBI. It's called the Constitutional Amendment Bill, whether that was also correct.
But guys also have been asking a lot of questions about the content. Some people didn't know it. I saw there was another county, is it a county parliament? What do you call them?
County assembly.
County parliament. My GHC teacher. But anyway,
at least he's okay.
The county assembly. I think there's one walisoma the wrong document.
Yes, there were actually claims. I don't know. Nobody verified whether these claims were true. Some of them said that at least 13 county assemblies got the wrong document. Those are just some of the issues that were brought up in the petition as well. So I guess we can start with what is the short answer of this. What did the judgment say? The short answer is that it said that the process and some of the content of the Constitutional Amendment Bill, in brackets BBI, was unconstitutional. Meaning that we can't have a referendum as it stands because they did not follow the right procedure to amend the Constitution. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's very clear. I know procedure is equally important. So let's see some of the
reasons why. So we are saying as it stands on the day we shot this episode because things change every day.
A lot.
The thing is, this is actually not the end. The team can actually choose to appeal, and so whether or not we'll have a referendum, we still don't know. We're not sure. It's not a finished process. Okay, so we said that the process and the content, some of the content was unconstitutional. So we'll start with what did they find wrong with the process?
The flaws.
So, of course, it was a lengthy
ruling.
Even
like it was you watched all of it, man. Like I was just going for the highlights.
For you guys.
Summary,
for you guys.
Yeah.
So it was quite lengthy. So we'll just pick out a few things that were the most that stuck out the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of it is important, but we'll just talk about a few points. So the first one is about the popular initiative. Now. So I think we'll just have to give a little bit of a background in this to say that when the Constitution was being drafted, watu walika chini wakasema hatutaki Constitution ichangewe ovyo.
Yeah.
And so of course, there are some sections in the Constitution that can be changed, like easily through Parliament and all that don't affect the core structure of the Constitution.
Okay.
But there are some that actually can only be changed either through a popular initiative or a parliamentary initiative.
And by a popular initiative means a private citizen, or does it mean like a large group of people? So
a popular initiative, it just basically says that a private citizen in their own kama Ben Karaoke.
Okay.
Anaweza amkala aseme mimi sitaki Kenya tuko na president.
I feel like by the way ni free ama kuna pesa ndalipa. Tunaweza change vitu kadhaa mazee. Kwanza traffic mzee.
I mean you'll cost it, like it'll be at your cost. So kama unasema
kuna mtu atanirudishia do.
See, it's your country. You give back to your country.
So
basically what we're saying is that if it's a popular initiative, Ben can wake up one day and say he doesn't want Kenya to have a deputy president. Maybe he wants to have a prime minister instead. Now, that structure of the executive cannot be changed ovyo. So the president cannot wake up and say, oh, lazima to change, you know. So you can actually say that this is what you want. So you draft what you want. And then, because hatuwezi change constitution juwe peke yako umesema, you have to look for 1 million signatures. To approve, for those 1 million people have to understand that kitu unataka kuchange.
Yeah.
And then based on that, you can take it now to IEBC and then they can see whether it can go into the process of a popular initiative.
So I'll need to start this bill, let's see, do I call it a bill?
Then you take process.
it. You start this process by going to the High Court. Then you get like, let's say you're proposing, you don't want MPs anymore, you want prefects.
You don't go to the High Court.
Yeah.
You just sit and decide this is what you want.
Okay.
You draft it in a paper.
Okay.
And then you take this paper to a million people and tell them this is what I want. Do you approve? Okay, they sign. And then after that, that's when you can take it to the IEBC.
Okay.
So basically, the question was in court was whether or not this is a popular initiative.
So the tricky part is verifying if this 1 million people are real, or because you just can't start. Maybe you can't use a lot of you guys have been saying, or a lot of you guys, the way YouTubers are always, a lot of guys have been DMing me, asking me where I got this shot. And really no one even likes that shot at all,
Not even your mother asked you.
So how do you draw that line? I mean, or rather, this is one of the bones of contention that it seemed like it was like, a lot of you guys have been saying, without following the procedure. So the process of a popular initiative has to start with a private citizen. So Ben kama binafsi. Now the thing that the petitioners were arguing is whether or not this can be a popular initiative, and it was started by the president. So now the Constitution actually bars the president from making constitutional changes. The president or any other state entity, like the military, cannot come and say we're changing how government works, how the Constitution is set up. So that protects people, general people, from how we intended the Constitution to be. Yeah.
So that was the point of tension. And they said that the president is not allowed to do this. In fact, the court found the president guilty of acting against his constitutional mandate because he went ahead to start a process of constitutional amendment when the Constitution does not allow him to do that.
Can I ask you a question? Does the president cease being a private citizen the moment? Do you cease being a private citizen the moment you become a public president? There's no such thing as a public president. Because there's no private president. No, like, in this estate, I'm the private president,
Okay, and I think that's actually one of the points of contention, and people who are against the ruling actually say that why can't the president act in a personal capacity to change the Constitution? The thing, however, is the judgment actually pointed out instances where the president acted as the president in this process to aid in constitutional amendment. So they talk about when he gazetted the BBI steering committee. They talk about the use of public funds. So they pointed out that the president was acting in his capacity as the president. But people are still arguing that, but see, he's also a citizen. So we'll see.
But then also they will argue that you also can't form like a committee. You can't
and
authorize,
gazette them as president.
You can't authorize the use of public funds as a private citizen. You have to do that as the president.
Yeah. So that's a point of contention, and people will actually, the people who are going to appeal will use this as one of the things that they're
lawyers,
appealing.
Man, I always say I can't be a lawyer. Mimi naweza fika mahali niambie judge, si mimi ndio nakuambia judge.
Niangalie,
nianze kulia
nisikize,
wazee, so you have the lawyers.
Well, huwezi enda kuargue your feelings in court.
You have to prove the law.
So now that's the other thing, and then also it said that it opened up that people can actually sue the president for acting against the Constitution for this. I think we've always been under the assumption that the president has some sort of immunity, but the court actually pronounced that Mr. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta can be personally held responsible for this process.
So that means they've like not given us the right, because the right was already there. They've like opened. Now if you want to sue the president,
this is your chance.
You can sue the president.
Yes. So that was kind of big, like a court actually ruling against a
So what does that
president.
mean, suing the president? Like I'll go to court, say he has done this and that, yari yari, then he'll become unajua mi, my version of court in my head ni vyoja mahakamani. Kwa sababu ni vyoja mahakamani kwa sababu I've never like been to a court.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a couple of them. So like let's say the president stands on the other side, you stand on this side, alafu he defends, and then he defends himself. Like this is the president, bro.
I'm not very sure, but probably that's what would happen.
I'll wait to see how that unfolds.
So but then the thing is, it just allows us to actually do that, especially for this specific issue of trying to amend the Constitution when the court said that it's not in his power to do so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. So those are 3 points we've mentioned: the popular initiative issue, the
a private citizen.
Yes,
and then the other one for they ruled that now he can be sued.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, the next point is they found that the BBI steering committee was actually unconstitutional and it was unlawful.
Yeah.
Unakumbuka watu ni kina nani?
Kina nani, by the way?
Just a group of old people, to be quite frank. Like, there's no young person.
Who are they?
So there was, I think his name is Paul Mwangi. He was the secretary of that committee. The late Senator Haji was actually part of the committee. So those guys were actually gazetted by the president, I think in January 2018 or something of the sort.
To come up with...
To actually develop the constitutional amendment bill so that the process can go into a referendum.
So there were no like lawyers or
Paul Mwangi is a lawyer. There are a couple of people who are lawyers in that committee.
So whenever you're changing the constitution and the constitution, the country has so many people, do you also like need to have like pastors represented, musicians or farmers?
Yeah, actually there were a few religious people who were part of the committee.
Yeah.
I think from different religious groups.
Yeah.
There were also people, I think, from different parts of the country as well, so they made sure it's representative. But at the end of the day,
so the court said,
"Hatutambui
kitu hapa, this is just our subgroup."
Yes, basically. That's been taken too far.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then the other thing is that we don't have a referendum act.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's a referendum act?
What that means is the constitution gives an outline, but there has to be an act of parliament to give details of how things should be done. So, for example, the constitution shows us how elections should be done.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go into specific details. Now, Parliament passed an act called the Elections Act to give us specific details of exactly how it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the referendum. Constitution tells us what we can do. Outline. But then it doesn't, like, we don't have an act to say exactly what we need to do to have a referendum.
Mm-hmm.
So the court was like, because you don't even have an act, this whole thing is actually kind of unconstitutional. It's illegal. It's unlawful because there's no law dictating that you can do this or can't do this. So, yeah.
But my question, Sue, is, for example, why then couldn't the president change this law just using the MPs alone? If MPs are the legislature that who can
develop this,
who can amend the constitution, why couldn't he have just used them to amend these things that he wanted?
That we also don't know.
Oh, but that could have been an option.
Yeah, because there's a parliamentary initiative. So there's an option for that, but I guess they didn't do it.
Okay.
But also, like, I think the parts of the constitution that they're trying to change that cannot be changed in that way. So it has to
involve the people.
It has to go through people.
And that's where the referendum comes in.
Yes. So, and then the team did not even try to have a referendum act before this whole process started. So I guess that's kind of their fault also.
That was right there, man. That was right there.
Okay, and then lastly, we have the IEBC issue.
Yeah.
They have an issue with quorum. Now, quorum is they have to have a minimum number of people to carry out any business as IEBC.
Yeah.
So we only have 3 commissioners. Ao ni kina Chebukati by the see Chiloba. Chiloba was the CEO.
Chiloba was the one who was Chinia. The one was
the CEO, which is a different thing. Now the commission is the one that has to have a certain number of people for it to function.
But right now it has 3?
It has only 3. And the minimum I think should be 4. But there are supposed to be 7 commissioners.
Where are the other guys?
They resigned.
Wait, they resigned?
They actually resigned.
They resigned this year?
No, early 2018, I think.
But no one in that team saw
that this is a problem. I guess that's the other issue that would also be as a point of contention in court. Okay. If they're going to appeal, that's, I guess, another thing.
If they're looking for my legal services, I can barely with my card. I know a few things.
So that's the other thing that the court found wrong with this entire process. And IEBC was involved in verifying signatures.
Who is supposed to elect the commissioners?
They're supposed to be appointed. So the president is supposed to set up an interview panel, and then these people are supposed to be presented to parliament, and then after that it's assented by the president. So that didn't happen. The president delayed this process, and then now it doesn't work.
Okay. No comment.
Okay, so now let's talk about the
Wait, sorry. And does this mean that this also nullifies the by-elections that they've been running?
It could. Actually, the people in this who participated in this by-elections or whatever can actually take this to court. and say that this
Because for
was
them to carry out
unlawful.
elections, they need
quorum.
So that means tutaanza all the way from Kiambu, governor.
Kitambo sana. Governor tukufanya elections, the deputy.
The deputy
but
took
yes,
over.
every
But
single
from Kinajuja,
by-election, yes, all those
Bonchari,
things. It could be debated in court. Like it could be presented in court as unlawful.
This is a lot of chaos, man.
Yeah, mazee, kulikuwa na drama mob hapo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I love this drama that's happening in Kenya.
So this is just about the process. Hatujaingia BBI inasema nini. Now, in terms of what it says, we'll only cover two things.
Yeah.
The first one is the court ruled that each amendment should be asked as an individual referendum because of how different those things are. So huwezi niuliza kama nataka prime minister and if I also want a judicial ombudsman in the same referendum, because first of all we don't have a referendum act that would say maybe we can have both of them.
Yeah.
So as it stands, these are each individual things and they need to be decided differently.
How many acts were being changed?
So they were changing about 14 of the 18 constitution chapters in the constitution.
So hizo ni 14 questions unafaa kuulizwa ama
within the 14 kuna
zingine.
So there are about 78 questions they were asking.
Then your voting process ingekuwa ka exam center. Kama mnaanza na paper 1, unajua paper 2, like that would have been a lot. Unajua what's copy wewe
lunch break. Because that's a lot. That's a lot of questions they were asking.
Set raba, unajua you know the whole shebang, you know.
And then mnasachiwa
iron, unajua.
Mnasachiwa msikopi.
Then mnakaa with space, unajua. Then calculators, logbook,
everything.
It's crazy.
Could calculate even the cost of all those things.
Yeah, that's chaotic. That's chaotic.
So basically, but if we had a referendum act that said, oh, you could actually have a set of questions or whatever, then it would have been constitutional. But as it stands now, those things should have been separate, like would have had 70 different referendums. So hii ya kwanza unauliza unataka prime minister unataka deputy prime minister
na bado hujasahau unataka prime minister uko sure like you have to give people time.
So you have to talk about that, like it would have been chaotic. That's what you're saying.
Okay.
You know that the BBI wanted to add constituencies, right?
Yes, I've heard that story, and you know, I could hear it from politicians arguing. You know, some from Nyanza saying we don't get enough, some from this place saying they didn't get enough. So the question that I kept asking myself is, under what criteria did they settle that? Let's say, for example, let's say Moranga needed more constituencies,
and this other one did not.
Who gets to decide that Moranga will get more and Wajir will not get?
So basically, the BBI bill just said we're going to have 70 constituencies, and they distributed it. When in real sense, they have no authority to do that. There's a whole independent electoral
or IEBC
and boundaries commission.
Or boundaries.
Yes. So IEBC is supposed to do this after every so often. So it gives because you know things change within the country, populations grow, things change. So
you work as the IEBC.
Yes.
So decide if this place we need a new.
Yes.
Does that involve like things like county?
Yeah. No, just constituencies for now. So then they're the ones who determine, okay, so where should we have new constituencies? Should we have new constituencies first?
Yeah.
Secondly, where should we have them? And there are several factors that determine what they can do, like how they do this. And so this is not the mandate of the BBI.
It was the mandate of IEBC.
It's the mandate of IEBC. So BBI cannot propose to have more constituencies. They cannot even propose where they should be. And so the court said, yep, this is a mistake. A mistake. So we can't do that.
Plus, I'm sure also, I don't know how comfortable the courts were also with their ombudsman.
It is within their purview to suggest that. They can suggest. People can suggest that, okay, I think we need this here. I think we need that there. The thing is, it's not infringing on anybody's right to do that. But the one for the IEBC specifically, iyo wameingia kazi yao. And the court said you can't do other things. Tutapea nani na nani. So so that was, the court said that was wrong. In addition to very many other things. But these are the few we thought, okay, this would be interesting to discuss.
So what's the way forward? For example, and the reason why I'm asking is that now we have a new CJ.
Yeah.
She was already appointed, right?
At
She
the
was
time,
appointed
she was
yesterday.
nominated.
No,
Yeah,
right
she was
now
appointed
she's been
yesterday.
appointed.
Yes.
So can she? I don't know how the Supreme Court works. Can she can she pick this case up and then I'll make new judgments or decisions?
So no, actually, the court only rules on things that are brought before the court. So
Okay.
yeye kama judge hawezi enda kutafuta nafikiri hii inafaa kukuwa
Hello?
kesi.
By the way, kuna
nianze."
ingine hapo ya land yangu. Hiyo land yangu amkumalilete.
She can't go again and then look for things so that
Yeah.
they prosecute it, they determine it within the court. It has to be brought before the court.
Okay.
So the way forward basically is that this can be appealed.
And
Because
Court of
it's-
Appeal.
Yeah, because it's at the High Court, it can be appealed at the Court of Appeal. If they're not satisfied with what the Court of Appeal
Supreme
says,
Court.
they can go to the Supreme
Can
Court.
they jump the Court of Appeal and go to Supreme Court?
I have seen that there's a section of the Supreme Court of Kenya Act that can actually allow some things to be skipped to the Supreme Court, but we don't know whether that's something they're going to do.
But we all know. Tender Supreme Court.
So atujui, as it stands atujui, but that's also a possibility
But
that
can
they
she
can do that.
overturn it?
You see, she acts in a bench, so you see they don't listen to these cases as one person, and they actually vote.
Oh.
Yeah. So after these 5 judges, whatever will decide something on their own.
Or even the ones who made this ruling, not all of them. Well, we don't know what their vote.
We know that
know.
we know they unanimously supported it. But if you look at the ukikumbuka like the presidential election,
Yeah.
tulikuwa tunajua Njoki Ndung'u alikataa, sijui nani alikataa, but wengine walikubali. It's public knowledge, see rumors.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
so she by herself she can't rule in like
Mi ndio
overrule
nasema-
kila
mi ndio
mtu.
nasema huku.
As in haiwezi fanya hivyo. She's operating within a group of
Bench.
judges, yeah, and so all of them have a say, and then whoever has the majority, they win.
Wow. So even if it goes to the Supreme Court, it won't be a walk-in. It won't, even if they still have to convince the
They
other
still have to
judges
convince,
on
yeah.
the
And
bench.
then you see, because these judges, they can't just be like, tumesema ni hivi na ni hivi. They have to prove, like, they have to say why they decided that this is going to be done, just like how these people described
Because
it.
it will be hard sasa kuanza ku defend. Let's say the group,
Yeah.
the BBI team that was formed. It will be hard to explain the process, actually, the
Yes,
loopholes.
yeah. They have to use the law to defend it,
Yeah.
and all that. So, and then also these judgments are filed. They're referred to by different people. Obviously, it plays a role in your credibility. If you rule in a way that doesn't seem to be in line with the law,
Kenyans don't forget, man.
it's not even about Kenyans, just the legal profession in general.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. So hatuwezi sema that Martha atafanya something specific. There are people who are saying that she's in favor of government or whatever, which we don't have evidence for this.
Yeah, we don't.
So we can't say that that's true.
We can't,
But she cannot determine it by herself.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Then also 2022, the elections are coming.
Zinakam.
So the time frame also is like
Is a
time.
bit of a factor,
Like hapa hakuna time, as in.
yeah. And then obviously we're still looking at political formations around it. And then the other thing is there's nothing stopping the BBI team from starting this process afresh.
But even if they start afresh, how long will they have?
Yeah, so like we said, there's nothing stopping them from starting this whole process again.
But how long will that take?
It might take time because the court actually prescribed that there must be voter education done around what the constitutional amendment is.
Okay.
They also have to have a fresh voter registration, which will take some time.
Yeah.
IBC will conduct. Also, of course, there's a process of the collection of signatures and then it going through the constitution, the county assemblies, and then parliament and then senate.
Yeah.
And then after that, again, there'll be another 90 days. So it might almost get to the election period. So we are yet to see whether that they will think that's realistic. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that has been our episode for the day. Ben, do you have something to say about this?
Thanks for having me. I mean, I just have one question that has been bugging me, which maybe time will answer. I just want to know if those cars given to the MCAs will be taken back. But anyway, that's a question that's bugging me. But my parting shot is I'm very proud of the Kenyan judiciary. I think it's demonstrated to Africa and to a lot of African countries that the judiciary can actually be independent from the executive and the legislature, just as it's supposed to be. So big shout out to the judiciary. This includes to all of us, whatever queer. Jake, what?
My law
Yeah,
students there.
KSL.
Yeah, actually, you brought up a really important point about the independence of the judiciary. And that's actually one of the things we were discussing when we were looking at the judicial ombudsman. Will this infringe on the independence of the judiciary, which is a proposal in the BBI? I'll link that episode below. But yeah, so I was very surprised to see it, to see the judgment being read the way it was, with so much boldness, and even referring to the president by his name as someone who's broken the constitution for having this process even start. So personally, I was very happy about it because the law fought for itself. Nobody fought for the constitution. The constitution actually just came out to fight for itself. So I guess we'll await to see what is going to happen from now, and be sure we're gonna update you on that.
Definitely.
Wait,
does that mean that you're gonna have me again?
Yeah, I guess. Unataka kurudi? Unaweza come?
Definitely,
All right, so Ben, maybe you can tell us where we can find you.
You can follow me on Instagram at BenCyco, BenCyco. Subscribe also to my YouTube channel, because I know your YouTube channel has elites, so you can just subscribe to my YouTube channel, BenCyco, as well. And that's where we also have further conversations about literally everything.
Yeah.
So
All
thanks,
right.
Sue.
Thanks for coming. And he said subscribe to his channel, but also subscribe to mine. And make sure you like and share this video if you found it useful. Again, we really like to have your questions and your comments, just to discuss this conversation further. Share it with a friend. Talk to a friend about it. Ask them, what did they think about the judgment? What did you think about the judgment? Let us know in the comments below. And as usual, I'll see you next time. Bye.